Here's your water. I thought I had a plastic bag in it.
Mewing because it's recording.
You're mewing because it's recording? That's awesome.
Did you see? I was just like.
Oh my gosh. Are you ready?
This is Andrew Fiore, PRI 12. Oh, I'm really locked right now to being.
Welcome back, my ducklings, to another episode of Andrew and Ducky sitting in a tree. K-I-L-L-I-N-G.
Just kidding, this isn't the Beatles one. Oh, is that a spoiler?
Wait, shoot! The fan fiction? Oh no. You don't even know the half of it. So, today, as a contrast to my really bad middle school fan fiction, we're gonna read Andrew's really good middle school fan fiction.
Not fan fiction.
Wait, are you a fan of Abraham Lincoln?
It's an autobiography.
Are you a fan or are you not a fan
it's
of Abraham?
You're
You're avoiding the question. Are you a fan of Abraham Lincoln?
Yes.
Yes or no? Is this true?
Yes.
Well, then it's fan nonfiction, but it is...
Autobiography.
You can't... This is in third person.
He told it to me in a dream and he said write it in third person.
He gave you some golden plates, you stuck your head in a hat and wrote it down.
Now we have conventions in Utah. Anyways,
right.
folks, we are here at... Well, I'm used to sports shows.
Brought to you by my Beatles plushies in the back, who once again, I have never kissed, not even one time. Not even... Stop! Not even once.
So, this was like 8th grade because it was 2016, quite a year, honestly. Quite frankly, the biggest year, I think, in politics history. Maybe of the world, because this was written and Ducky Wucky was not even writing her Beatles fan fiction. I was writing a better piece of work.
I was in the thick of it, girl.
No, you weren't, because I would know. Nobody knows more about Ducky Wucky than me, believe me. 8th grade, beginning of class, we'd have to do these journal prompts. And you would put up on the screen, like, oh, write a prompt about this. Mm-hmm. And one week, it was like, write a quick story. It was like 5 minutes. And one time, it was a black and white photo. Editing Ducky's going to somehow find this and put it up. I just gave you homework.
Oh my gosh.
You have to find this exact photo. It was Abraham Lincoln, like a black and white photo of him holding a boombox. He was like, write a quick story. And I wrote 10 pages.
And it's a complete masterpiece.
Yes.
It's a disaster piece. It is... But
this was never gonna work. No, we're good. So that's the part she's gonna edit and crop, make it look like I left.
Yes.
But
I'm actually gonna make you explode, I think.
This is from
something like that.
This is from October 19th, 2016. Lincoln Part 1, The Rise of the GUOFN. Abraham Lincoln was in the Oval Office one day in 1865 when he noticed something in the closet. He opened the door and he noticed a portal and he was getting sucked into it. When he came out, the world looked different.
He came out of the closet?
He did come out of the closet. Abraham Lincoln. There were giant things zooming around, people in strange clothes, and
giant buildings all lit up. He asked someone why the person was dressed the way she was, and she said, because this is in. It's totally tubular. What is a tubular? Lincoln said he saw a big box in a store and went in to ask what it
is. Aren't you Abe Lincoln? The man in the store asked. How do you know who I am? Lincoln asked. The man showed him. Your turn.
The $5 bill. He ran out of the room.
No, that's his room.
He ran out
No, don't. Hey, you thought you had something there, right?
He ran out of the room screaming. Then he ran back into the store, grabbed the strange box, and left without paying. He asked a lot of people a lot of questions and found out that it was 1985.
That's why they said tubular. Totally tubular is like the way you tell it's the 80s. He had gotten somewhat used to life in the 80s until he found a biography of his life, probably this exact one, and decided to read it. When he reached the end, all he cared about was getting revenge on John Wilkes Booth's descendants. Or he could go back to the past and kill Booth. Just then, one of those giant things appeared out of nowhere.
An older man that looked like a Doc Brown is here. Appeared out of nowhere.
Say that.
Looked like a mad scientist. Exited the vehicle. He then ran up telling Marty.
The vehicle.
The vehicle. Then he ran away yelling, Marty. Lincoln decided to steal the car.
He saw a panel. My turn, obviously. He saw a panel with dates and a thing that said time machine. When he was trying to turn the AC on, he accidentally turned the knob for dates. but he didn't notice. Also, we almost found a continuity error that he wouldn't know what an AC is, but as a genius writer, if you recall back on page 1, he said he had gotten somewhat used to life in the 80s, which means he would know what an AC is. Really whole proof writing here. Yeah, no, I addressed it. I think I realized it and addressed it right here. He had learned how to operate cars a few days before, so he started driving. When the car reached 88 miles per hour, it disagreed. Lincoln's car suddenly appeared in 2323 and accidentally hit some guys on hovering boards. When he went to apologize and asked why the boards were hovering, he noticed that the guys were himself and John Wilkes Booth.
No!
He grabbed his boombox and hit John in the head. Once John was knocked out, Abe charged at the other Abe. When he went to attack, however, George Washington came in on an airplane and dropped a bomb on them.
This is better than the monument mythos.
This caused a paradox because these deaths were the second and third times, which is impossible. So everyone that was affected was sent to a different year. Fine, you can read it too.
Fine. The Abraham Lincoln that this story has been following, the one that stole the DeLorean, was sent to 1703. This happened so that none of the timelines will cross ever again. Abraham Lincoln had a new thirst for revenge. He wanted to live longer than he should so that he could kill George Washington and teach his past self to take advantage of the portal. 90 years later, when Abe was 146, he decided to assassinate the president, who was Washington. He got his boombox, which he would throw at Washington's head. Washington was scheduled to speak at a town hall that day, so that's pretty small potatoes for him, I can't lie. So Abe hid in the rafters. Ooh, Abe hid in the rafters, waiting for George to come, so that... I don't like how I said that.
Abe hid in the rafters, waiting for George to come, so that Abe could throw his boombox at George. But he never came.
George discovered a time machine. No, under the Oval Office, and so he stole it and went to 1982 and stole the USSR's atomic bombs. It's a loop! And went around in a World War II plane, bombing random places in time. Sounds like a US president, all right. For example, one bomb hit the Titanic in 1912, one hit Robin Hood's house, even though he didn't even exist. Don't tell the kids that. They're going to be traumatized.
There is no Tooth Fairy, there is no Easter Bunny, and there is no Robin Hood. Or Queen of England. One hit Abraham Lincoln.
The big 2-3.
In 2323, which you read about earlier. Get it? He's
like, self-aware.
You're supposed to go...
Oh, shoot. All right, I gotta grab a tissue. You ready? Don't get up to any buffoonery while I'm gone, okay? They're making faces. Are you or are you not making faces? Let me see your face. Is there a face on your face?
I stared at it blank for that whole... But I was cracking a little bit. You can see I was just...
It's like, don't make a face. Meanwhile, he's making no face. Abraham Lincoln was still waiting, and he ended up waiting for in the rafters for 64 years when he decided to give up. Right after he left, George Washington came 64 years late. The now 210-year-old Abraham Lincoln decided to help his younger self win the election of 1860, which would take place in the following year. He took the alias name of Jimmy Fallon, very Marty McFly to do, by the way, so that he wouldn't confuse young Abraham Lincoln. Old Abraham's efforts were successful, and Abraham Lincoln won the election. The day his younger self was sworn in, the older Abe pulled his past self aside and told him about the time portal. He told him to do everything as it happened up until when he wanted to kill George. He told him to rise to power and to get revenge on George in another way.
The young Abraham thanked the older one and left. Abe realized that his whole reality would cease to exist because this would create an alternate universe. Years later, after he decided to live a quiet life because of the fact that he would die, he finally died and just disappeared. That's gonna do it for us here on Ducky Wucky. I am not Ducky Wucky, the end. But He was suddenly in a giant fancy building.
When we least expected him, he returned.
Where am I? He asked. Someone said,
Beg my pardon, Dictator Lincoln. But what do you mean?
But what do you mean? Lincoln walked around and noticed that the technology was even more superior than it was in 1985. Suddenly, noises and pictures appeared on a flat thing. The video said the following. Hail to our glorious dictator, Abraham
Hail
Lincoln.
Mary and I got excited. I thought it was going to be awesome. Okay.
The good ending.
I wish.
Hail to our glorious dictator, Abraham Lincoln. If it were not for him, the great glory of the Grand Union of Fascist Nations would not exist. There used to be over 200 countries, but thanks to the master, the whole world is one. He also made many technological advancements. Instead of the technology we have today, this is what the world would have looked like. It showed a grainy, black and white picture of the type of town Lincoln was used to.
Mean?
With horse carriages and wooden buildings. Lincoln missed the way life used to be.
Oh, no. The video continued. The technology that we have today wouldn't have been developed until 2027. A year we thought would never come. We found the first picture ever, which should have been taken around now. It showed another grainy picture, but of Lincoln holding the boombox.
That's the
Dimmer,
one. That's from the prompt. This picture was taken in 1709, but it would have been taken last year. Lincoln then realized that he didn't know what year it was. He soon found out that it was 1865. And that he was 217 years old.
And when he first traveled through time in the other dimension, he was
59 years old.
59 years old.
So they were both
That's
1865.
A really rough five.
Lincoln ignored the rest of the video, but he noticed that it was interrupted by a news flash. Breaking news! A rebellion has broken out in the North American section.
No.
Lincoln yelled over the news broadcast, "Send the cavalry!" His underlords were confused.
Whoa.
What does cavalry mean, sir? One asked. Lincoln then realized that he had to explain the truth so that he could get information that he needed. After he had explained, he asked them to explain the history of the GUOFN.
The
Grand Union of Fascist Nations.
Oh, that's what that stands for.
He learned the following.
He warned his younger self about using the time machine in the right way. Instead of accidentally going to 2323, he went straight to 1703 and showed the people his boombox. He taught them the ways of his time. And using the DeLorean, he taught them the ways of the future. Then he realized that if he told them the democracy fails and dictatorships are better, then he would become a dictator.
Too long didn't read there.
But they did watch this far.
That's right. I have to sum up what's happening
Go ahead.
for our viewers.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I got distracted by the pretty face in the phone looking at me. Remember how he waited in the rafters and then he met his past self and helped his past self win the election?
Yep.
When he helped the past self, he was like, all right, listen, you have to use this time portal in the right way.
Yes.
So instead, and he was like, you have to go kill John Wilkes Booth. Instead of doing that, he went back to like 1709 and started teaching people the ways of the future.
Yes.
It was like, hey guys, democracy doesn't work, make me dictator. Let me use it to teach them the future technology, which is good, I guess, but also to make himself dictator. He started the American Revolution in 1726, and they quickly dispatched the British. Lincoln then set up the Grand Union of Fascist States. It became prosperous and the main global power in the world. Countries that were still in the 1700s style noticed the rapid progress of the new nation. Some countries joined the Union, especially in the Caribbean. I don't know why that detail is there. Others had to be taken over, like Spain.
Those stubborn
So yeah, like Spain was... The military strength of the Union was unmatched. While Britain had their powerful navy of wooden schooners, Mystic Schooners, any CBL baseball team mentioned. The Grand Union of Fascist States had a navy of advanced steel battleships with advanced technology.
Whoa.
By 1782, the Grand Union of Fascist States had gained, the GUOFS had gained so many countries that they became the GUOFN, or the Grand Union of Fascist Nations. It, at the time, consisted of the Americas, Western Europe, and Africa. All that it needed was Asia, Oceania, and the poles. No,
The poles?
Like the North
Don't come
Pole,
for me, dude.
North Pole. In 1783, the GAOTGU, or Grand Army of the Grand Union, invaded the Middle East and
Mongolia.
Okay, Bush. GNOTGU, or the Grand Navy of the Grand Union, took every island in the Pacific. They did not need to take Australia or India because when they took the UK, India and Australia were its colony. On April 18, 1774, final battle took place in China. Why did I choose
I don't know.
The military strength of China was no match for the tech of the future. The Chinese came out with swords and early developed guns, but suddenly in the sky, hover bombers from the year 2206 dropped bombs that made a line of fire that covered the entire span of the country. Lincoln, why did I include that detail?
I don't know.
Lincoln had taken over the world. In the capital city of America, which in an alternate dimension was a country called the United States, a celebration had broken out. The Capitol building was called Kentucky because it used to be the state of Kentucky, and it was where Lincoln was born.
So the Capitol building is the size of Kentucky.
Yes, and it was the exact border of Kentucky. Like, it's just Kentucky is one building. Here and there, rebellions would break out, but all the military had to do was drop a firebomb from 2206. To make sure that no one would go back in time to end the Union. No one but Lincoln knew how to travel through time. The DeLorean was buried only where Lincoln knew, and they only took it out when necessary. Now that Lincoln knew about his country, this is the current Lincoln, he realized that his other self was gone. All of a sudden, the DeLorean appeared. The dictator stepped out. He saw his former mentor. Look at what we have created, he yelled.
Oh my gosh, wait, who wants to be evil and who wants to be good, Abe?
I'll be evil.
Okay.
Look at what we have created, he yelled. The original Abe replied,
What do you mean, we?
I was so ahead of my time. We created this.
Who's we?
We are repping the Grand Union of Fascist Nations. We did this.
We. What do you mean, we?
You told me to create this.
I told you.
Wait, the dictator said.
I told you to take advantage a little bit, but not like this.
The original one realized what he had to do. Come.
Wait, is that I'm supposed to say that?
Oh yeah, come. You're supposed to say come.
Can you say it?
Come. The original one realized what he had. It's great! Everything's great! You want me to read part of Seinfeld and put that in? The original one realized what he had to do. Come! He said. The dictator walked towards him. He said, even with the boombox, and ran towards the DeLorean.
Look at my eyes. Look how damp they are with joy. Me?
He started driving, but
they somehow ended up in the
London
dimension.
Somehow ended up in the
London
dimension in
1945.
1947, when the invasion of the military was able to advance.
Okay, so now we have to talk like this. Lincoln jumped out and chased the dictator.
The pursued Lincoln broke into his store and grabbed a sword.
A sword?
It's like the Family Guy thing. Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Cool whip.
That's right. That was pretty good. That was good.
I never tried that.
You kind of slayed that, actually. You win some, you lose some, baby.
I love you.
Our hero grabbed another, and the fight began. They dashed.
No, they clashed is what I meant. You didn't have to point out my grammatical syntax errors.
I'm sorry.
Ducky.
The clashed all over town. The original Lincoln, his sword.
Oh no,
broke.
no, I didn't say it.
Lincoln's sword broke, so he ran all the way to an airfield. He jumped into a plane from World War II and flew away.
The other one followed suit.
The other
and
one.
the flight moved into the air. The original was winning. He had shot more of the dictator's plane. But suddenly, while the dictator was trying to escape from the original, a shot went through part of the plane.
No!
The dictator wasn't firing. He looked behind him, and he saw that George Washington was behind him. No, that's good.
Oh, that's good?
Lincoln
He
realized...
bombed people. A lot.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, he hated George Washington. Right, that's
Yeah,
right.
like George Washington.
Went to go back to kill him. You're right,
Yeah.
you're right. Lincoln realized that this was the plane that George Washington traveled through time in. He saw a flux capacitor, like in the DeLorean from Back to the Future. I'm glad I didn't specify before, but now it's from Back to the Future.
And it's not from, it's
like. He set the time to 1703 and disappeared. Washington and the other Lincoln realized what had happened, and they scrambled into the DeLorean. Suddenly, as Washington started the car, Lincoln disappeared. Washington drove to 1703 to see 2 Abraham Lincolns, one dead and one alive. "Why did you steal my plane?" he asked. Lincoln said, "I just saved the United States." Washington then said, "Won't you die? I may have time to go to 1865 and destroy the portal." With that, Lincoln thanked Washington.
He's going back in the closet now.
And drove away in the DeLorean. He ran to the Oval Office, not being stopped by guards. He took a back route, broke the wall, and found none other than George activating the portal in a large closet, which Abe had found through breaking the wall of the room next door. "I thought you were on my side," he said. "I am George Washington. From the GUOFN, not the one you know." See, I told you that Washington was on his side, and that's why he thanked him. But this is the evil one. The first president explained. With that, Lincoln pulled out his boombox from the original prompt and threw it at the portal. "What have you done?" Evil George Washington be like, "I can tell a lie." "What have you done?" Evil Washington yelled as he disappeared. "I still don't know what that thing does," Lincoln said. With that, he disappeared because the original version of himself never traveled through time, and thus balance was restored to the universe.
Okay.
For now. The end or the beginning.
Wow. That was really good.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part is when Abraham Lincoln came out of the closet.
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois.